Mori ore te whānau, no mai hoki mai. Welcome back to the Practice Run, your frontline pass to the heart of sports Asia. Brought to you by 99 Dreams, inspiring others to chase their dreams. With your hosts, Tukoirangi, Rāori, and sometimes our other friends. We're diving deep into the thrilling world of the NRL and Rugby League today, and who knows where the game will take us tomorrow. From the try line to the sideline, we've got you covered.
So strap in as we tackle the big plays, the game-changing moments and the stories that define legends. Whether you're a seasoned vet or this is your first hit-up, the Practice Run is for everyone. Every run, every tackle, every win, experience the rush with us.
With exclusive insights, couch analysis, and a touch of humour, the Practice Run is here to keep you entertained, informed, and part of our practice squad. Because here, every practice run takes us one step closer to glory.
The Practice Squad, where every listener is MVP, powering our play every episode, every day.
I want to give a huge shout out to 99 Dreams for powering our passion. Now, let's kick things off with today's lineup. Today, it's a shorter episode, hopefully. There was only 5 games in the weekend, so we don't have too many games to talk about. So we'll be going over the round 13 review, going over those 5 games. It was a huge amount of upsets over the weekend, so lots to talk about. We're also going to give you guys our 99 Dreams Team of the Week. There's some interesting new names in there with some big names out this week, made way for new names to come on to our Team of the Week. And finally, we will be wrapping the show up with our State of Origin previews. So there's 2 games of Origin on this week. We have the men's Origin on Wednesday night. That kicks off, I don't know, around midnight apparently. And then we've got the women's game on Thursday night. So look forward to both those games, and we will dive deep and pick apart our predictions and our theories for those games. I mean, I don't know how good my predictions are going to be. I went 0-5 this weekend, so it is what it is, I guess. But before we get into it, you know how we do. Every episode, we start off with a bit of a paper, scissors, rock between Tu and I. So if you don't know how this works, we just go 1, 2, 3, shoot. You go paper, scissors, or rock. Winner wins, losers lose. Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3, shoot. And up.
Oh, okay.
Lucky, because in my head I was thinking paper, but I'm going to roll with the scissors. All right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, shoot. And up.
Oh.
Didn't want to change, eh? All right. 1, 2, 3, shoot. And up. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, shoot. And up.
I don't like that one at all. Oh, I do not like that one. I don't feel as confident in that one.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, shoot. And up.
I got to that point where I was like, I'm staying. If we're here for an hour, we're here for an hour.
I was like, oh man, I'll go paper just in case he goes rock.
You know, sometimes you get that battle way. It no longer becomes about who wins or loses. It becomes about who's the first to change, eh? Like, you know, it's like you could lose it, but it's like, you change, eh, boy. Didn't want to stay, eh?
Now I was just like, oh man, we gotta make this more diverse, because if you just listen to the audio, it makes no sense. All you hear is 1, 2, 3, shoot.
True that. Oh
well. Yeah, but hey, how was the weekend? What did you get up to? Anything new or interesting happen over the weekend?
Yeah, weekend was good. Had a surprise. A couple of the cousins, auntie and uncle, showed up on Saturday. So it was a good surprise to see them and catch up with them. Other than that, just relaxed and enjoyed the day off. Didn't really get up too much. I didn't have any plans. I kind of just wanted to do nothing really. Just give the body a chance to reset and recharge before we kick into some big things we got coming up. But it's pretty much me. Always good to see the whānau and that. Sent them off today, which is good. And then, All right, what about you? What'd you get up to?
Yeah, nah, me. That sounds like a great weekend, brother. I chilled out. What did I do? Weather was average here actually over Friday, Saturday. So I took the bike out for a run yesterday. It was actually quite nice to take the bike out for a run. It was good weather, not too hot but not freezing. So managed to get out on a good blitz. Haven't taken the bike for a long blitz like that for a little while now. So it was good to get out on the bike and do that. I've just set up my helmet so I can fit a camera in the helmet now. I've got this little magnetic strip that I put on the inside of my helmet, and then I attach my little camera here to the helmet.
Yeah.
And now we're good to go on the cruises.
Just like that, eh?
Just like that, brother. We're good to go now. So
Hey.
we'll be getting some motorcycle action happening over on my personal channel. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I got to come up with a name for it or whatever. But yeah, look out for that in the coming weeks. But yeah, other than that, no, I've just been working on the bike. I've got my full license test next week for my motorcycle license. So once we get that in the bag, then yeah, we're just pretty much saving up to get that new bike.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
Yeah. And then once I get that new bike, I'm thinking over summer I'm going to take it for a cruise. I've been watching like some YouTube videos of people touring New Zealand on bikes, and I'm like, bro, I'm keen to do this. Like, just jump on the bike over summer and just go somewhere. So I'll probably hit up your ways over summer on the bike, man.
Come up, man. Do it.
That's yeah. I'll be down. I'll message Benja and be like, yo, rest you there. Oh man, but no, sounds like everyone had a good weekend. Everyone's safe, happy, and healthy, which is the main thing. Let's dive into this weird weekend of sports. Starting things off with Thursday night, round 13, 30th of May, Combank Stadium. The Parramatta Eels hosted the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. Now, bear in mind, Cronulla only was missing McInnes and Hines, right?
Yep.
They had Trindle returning. Essentially, the rest of this team wasn't that different from every other team. And then you've got the Eels with Mitch Moses returning, and that meant Dylan Brown shifts back into the six, and Gutho returns at fullback. Two changes for a team that's been, very, very subpar these past few months, really, in the absence of Mitchell Moses. I had no expectation for Parramatta to be that good. It really is just Mitchell Moses that makes that team. So the final score there is 34-22 to Parramatta Eels. And yeah, look, with Mitch Moses running that ship, everyone has that role. And like you said earlier on in the season, after Mitch Moses went down, Dylan Brown isn't a 7. He's not that guy. He makes a great 6, solid defensive 6, perfect complement to Mitch Moses, I think. Like, he makes the perfect Robin. And yeah, we really seen that last night. Not last night, sorry, on Thursday night. I was just astounded at, how much significance one player makes to that team. Whereas, the likes of Penrith, they were without Cleary, but they still managed to win a few games. Especially with Luai playing 7, they still managed to win a few games with that Penrith lineup. These Parramatta Eels couldn't do that, which begs the question, was Brad Arthur fired too soon? Did they pull the trigger too soon on Brad Arthur without having Mitchell Moses back? Because before Moses went down, like we said, Parramatta looked like a top 4 team. Now he's back. Parramatta are playing pretty good footy again. They've got good structure. All of the players sort of know what their role is now that Mitchell Moses is back. He's that ring general, bit of a Chris Paul, if you will, able to identify the gaps and where players need to be and what kind of shape they're running. So, yeah, I was completely blown away with Parramatta. It's not what I expected from Parramatta. I thought it was going to be another bit of a whitewash. I thought this would be a bounce back game for Cronulla. Yeah, Parramatta, you surprised me, but even more so, Mitchell Moses, he is him. If he gets a good supporting cast around him, I guarantee he's winning grand finals, man.
Yeah, this was a game that I did have a funny feeling it could go this way, but I was hoping that it wouldn't. It just shows you, right, the difference that a superstar makes and what he brings to the team. You said it. It's just not what he does, but it's what he brings to the team and how he not only elevates everyone, but gives them confidence to do what they want to do. But this is worrying signs for the Sharks, is the way I view it. You got pumped last week. What, 42-0? Oh, I'll be back. Where was I? No, that's right. I was talking about how it's worrying signs for the Sharks. After getting pumped last week, 42, 38-0 or one of those scores. A lot to nothing, pretty much. Therefore, to come out like this, and it's more, to me, the way they lost. It just feels as though, I think what we're learning through the season is that you have to value the ball. And it's kind of not about the mistakes you make, but it's when and where you make them. So if you're turning the ball over inside your 20, like, it's just hard to defend. You know what I mean? Like, teams these days, they're just too good. You give them chance after chance, eventually you're going to get exposed. And what I've learned most about the league this year is how hard is it to, like, get momentum. Right? Like, at the start of the games, teams always are, like, going back and forth, and it's normally whichever side makes the first mistake, the other side's going to get their momentum, and they tend to build off it. But then once a team can, if a team's able to wrestle it back and they can get momentum going their way, like, that's a sign of a great team. Because teams at the bottom of the table tend to just, something goes their way, the good teams have momentum, and it's pretty much all she wrote. Now, even though Sharks scored first, right, off their, pretty much full-length try that they got, which was a good try. I mean, it just felt like the Eels were in control the whole time. The only time the Sharks really felt like they were in it is when they scored those quick back-to-back tries in, like, the 60th minute. They finally had momentum. You know, and what happens? The kickoff comes, and pretty much first play, Sharks make a mistake. I think it was Ueli. He did that beautiful flick pass to set up the try, and then the very next play knocks it on. And then from there, the Eels score straight out, and it just killed it. I mean, we were yarning in chat, right? And then I don't know that you were, like, delayed or whatever. Because, yeah, after you made that, I was like, oh, it's over. That's literally game. Like, you had the momentum, you brought it back, you were still down, like, yeah, still behind, but you had momentum, you had over 10 minutes left, so you could make a run at it. Knock it on, pretty much that next set, they score, and it's just game. It ended everything. So, big up to the Eels. Where do they go from here? Can they build? I actually think they can. Like, looking at their schedule. So, next week they face us, which I think is going to be a real good game. The following week, they have, I think it's the Roosters, and I think they have a bye. Yep, they got a bye, and then once they come back from the bye, they have, like, 3 or 4 games against, like, bottom, like, teams outside the top 8. So it's looking pretty favorable for them after that bye. So if they can build on that, I'm hoping we can knock them off. But if they beat us, who knows what happens with the Roosters? You have a bye, then you go against the Knights, you got the Rabbitohs, and then you got Titans. 3 games that are super winnable. Got the bye. You're looking at, what's that? 2, 4, 6, 8, like, gettable points. Against us, that's going to be a tough game, man, with Moses and Guffo back. I think they'll be thinking they can win that game. And you never know what happens against the Roosters. So, even though they're at the bottom of the ladder in 15th, with their string of games coming back and everyone, you know, pretty much a full-strength team now with Moses and Guffo, these Eels could sneak up on people. I'm not too sure if they're going to make the 8, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. So, yeah, in terms of the Sharks, I don't know, man, you got to figure out something. You've lost 2 games quite badly now. And the questions are only going to get louder whether you are a legit team. It's like we've been talking about the whole time, right? When they're top of the ladder, we're like, is this really, like, are they legit threats? Are they contenders, or are they just pretenders with their soft schedule? We thought they were contenders because of how they beat the Roosters in Magic Round, right? And not just that, they beat them and they beat the Storm. So two quality teams, that they've beaten, and then on the back of that, you get pumped by Penrith, and then you lose this game. So now I'm just back to, are they really legit contenders? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I think we're going to have to let the season play out, see what happens. I do think they'll still make the 8. But come playoff times, man, I don't know. So overall, good ones for the Eels. Fuck you, Trent Barrett. You're a shit coach. And Sharks, figure your shit out. But that's all I've got for that game, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like what you say about that too. Is for Parramatta, it is like if they can turn the season around. There's still plenty of season left. They do have to start going on a bit of a roll from now onwards, but it's not impossible. They can claw their way out. Fortunately, we don't. We're not doing power rankings this week. Otherwise, we'd see Parramatta jump from that bottom spot. There's just too many teams that won't move because they're all on a bye. So, yeah, there's no point doing it. But with the Sharks, I think a real test will be how they play the Broncos. So one of our things this season has been we're losing to teams that are quality teams. We've lost to the Roosters twice now, I think. We've lost to the Storm, to the Panthers, and I think the Titans, but we were pretty tired by then. We haven't had a bye, but I don't know how to make an excuse for that one. But yeah, I think for us, if we beat the Sharks, then I don't think they're at all a contender. If they do get up on us, then yeah, I think they've got a solid chance because we've only lost games to quality teams so far. We've won those games that are winnable games for the most part, minus that Titans game. But yeah, lots of work for the Sharks left to do. Friday, 31st of May, McDonald Jones Stadium, Newcastle host the Knights. The Newcastle Knights host the Bulldogs, who have a terrible record away from home. But I'll let Tu tell that story.
Yes, so this was the game. If you watched our previous show, you heard me say that I don't think we're going to win this game, but I was looking for some fight. That's all I was hoping for, that the boys would put up a fight and make the Knights work. With the lights of Burden, Kick Out, and Critter all missing out. Not that I say that we couldn't win it, I just thought you're facing a team of the Knights coming off the bye of 4 wins in a row. They're a hot team. We're missing key players. Kind of the ingredients were there to pretty much be okay if we lost. And I think that's how most of us fans feel. But the performance the boys put up, honestly, that might be the most gutsiest win I've seen of the Bulldogs in a very, very long time. And that's one that the whole club is proud of, and all of us fans here are definitely proud of. When this kind of everything going against, well, not everything going against us, we had reasons to not put up a fight, to come away with, like if we lost, we had already made excuses, right? Origin period, they're coming off the bye, everything was there. But the boys didn't come up with any excuses, and that was a pure defensive clinic. The DNA of this team is starting to show through, and it's spearheaded by the coach Serraldo, who said that the systems haven't changed since last year, but the players are bought into it and they're fighting for each other. You can see that on the field. The Knights, honestly, that I don't even know what to make of their performance. In the first 6 minutes, man, it looked like they had all the ball. We were defeating the whole time. Connor Tracy goes off. Once again, Knights, they did a weird thing, and we might talk about this later if that's so good. Teams that get a player put in the sin bin, and then the other team, like, not tapping and going, but going for 2. Like, I understand that, you want to get some points, and you've still got pretty much 10 minutes to go, but I just don't think, I don't know if that's the way to go, because pretty much what happened is that after that, we got to kick off, and our defense pretty much held them down there, and they didn't even get close to looking like scoring another try. So that 10 minutes should have been dominant period for them, and it just wasn't. And in fact, we ended up scoring while we had a man in the bin. Now, that was all Josh Adokar. I'll admit that. There was a bit of magic from him. Chip and chase. The bro David Armstrong had probably easily his worst game so far at fullback. Maybe it was the news of the Roosters being interested in him got to his head. But I don't know. And then that second half was just dominant. They never looked like scoring. Jacob Preston, it's crazy because we have Viliami Kika, who's a dominant second rower, playing some really good form to start with. Jacob Preston got injured, broken jaw, so he's been out for a little bit. And Salmon's been doing a good enough job that he doesn't warrant it being dropped, Like, he does all the little things, so there's just no reason why to drop him. Kika moves out, Preston moves in one of the few games he started this year, scores a double, and he had that try-saving tackle on Greg Marju, which really turned the tide, I felt, in our favour. The two biggest players are probably our defensive players that we made, Preston being one, and the other one was... What happened? I think one of their forwards knocked it on as they were going for a try. And you just see all the boys just get up for it. Super happy with them. Everyone played well. Couldn't really pinpoint one person. Preston had a great game. Edo Carr had a great 30 minutes that he was on. Josh Curran, thank you, Waz, for letting him go. Bronson Cherry's playing well. But yeah, honestly, our best defensive game I've seen from us in a very, very long time. I think our DNA started settling, and it's given me hope that we can actually compete for the 8. And the Knights, that was just shit. And shout out to Mahone, who just doing what he's doing. This last couple of weeks has been his best as a Bulldog, and he continues to get it under other teams' skins. He pretty much owns the Knights at this point. And yeah, that was it. I hope we can build off this. We got a tough game on Monday against the Eels, but this should be a game that all the Bulldogs, that the players and the fans should be super proud of. This could set us up for our season, and if it does, I don't know. I think we can compete for the 8. I'd still like to see a little bit more, but I'm happy where we're at, and we're definitely ahead of the ball. In terms of the Knights, shame. That's all I got to say. You just never look like scoring, and these two blowout games where we're blowing them out compared to last year where we got blown out, it's just night and day. Absolutely night and day. So yeah, man, that's enough from me. What were your thoughts on this team, on this game?
Yeah, look, like you said in the previous game, it's all about momentum. You see Bulldogs players getting sent off, you're going momentum shift the way of the Knights. That's just generally how the game of rugby league goes. People get sent off, and you're going, okay, sweet, that's a shift in favour of the team who doesn't lose a player. You're going 12 against 13. That momentum shift should be huge. However, I think somehow the Bulldogs managed to turn the sin bin into a superpower, and like you do say, it did come off a bit of Josh Adokar magic. However, it's irrelevant. You're going 13 versus 12. I'm no mathematician. I did PE at university. That means by no means am I a mathematician, but 13 is more than 12. So you should have more chances to defend. You should have more chances to slide and cover those errors where the Bulldogs were able to attack. And we did say on Thursday's show, right? You guys were talking about this is a chance for Josh Adokar to shine. He was, missed. He was overlooked for Origin selection. He was able to shine. Unfortunately, he came off with that injury. Do we have any updates on that injury at all? I know you're trying to pack some food away, so I'll fill in some time. But while you look at that, can you let us know?
8 to 10 weeks.
8 weeks. 8 to 10 weeks. Damn. But that's a tough price to pay. However, that game, if he come off that healthy, I'm Madge. I'm sitting at home. if any one of these wingers don't play good on Wednesday night, I know that Josh Adokar would have been ready and waiting, and he would have been a great selection. Unfortunately, yeah, Karoha to the bro. And that's tough luck. But look, he didn't go missing in this Bulldogs game. You know, without Crichton, Kikau, Burden, who steps up? Superstar Josh Adokar. Reed Mahoney. I was saying to two off camera, we were talking about, Hands had a great game for the Eels, but no one wanted to throw hands with Hands. Everyone wanted to throw down with Reed, and that's the difference maker, I think. He does get under their skin a lot of the times, but I don't think it's in a grubby way. He lets his action and the performance of the team speak for itself. Even when they're losing, he's still, putting his heart on his sleeve and giving it his all, and that just rubs people the wrong way on opposing teams. As a Broncos fan, we've never had a great 9, not that I can remember. I think our best was like Andrew McCulloch or some shit like that, so I don't even know. But I would love to have the likes of a Reed Mahoney in Brisbane. Just having someone like that, and then if someone tried to bar up, you got the likes of Pia Kura, Haas, or standing over him, ready to bar up with anyone who's going to have to throw down with the bro. So yeah, I like what he does for the Bulldogs. I think not only is he a good 9, but he has those intangibles that you can't teach. He's got that KG about him, I reckon. He got a bit of KG. Kevin Garnett, for those who don't know, he was an elite trash talker in the NBA, and he'd probably fuck their mum just to prove a point. So yeah, look, great win from the Bulldogs. They showed a lot of heart, they showed a lot of resolve, and they showed that this team is a lot different to Bulldogs teams in recent years. And I say the word team so heavily is because they don't have just one standout player. They have a solid team, 1 through 20. We say that about Penrith, it's next man up. It seems to be the same at the Bulldogs, next man up. Everyone has a job to do. They know their role and they stick to it really well. The Knights, I have no idea. I hope the Roosters pick up Armstrong after that performance. I hope they take him. They've been sniffing around. Take him. Leave the rest of the players to good teams. The Roosters clear up their cap space. But yeah, Knights, I don't know. You all need to take a long, hard look in the mirror. Stop trying to start fights just because you can't win the game. If you can't score a try, don't start a fight. Don't start no fights. That's not how this game works. This ain't hockey. Be better. Use their energy to pick up the ball and frickin' run through a motherfucker. Don't try and fight someone just because you're losing. That's pathetic. No wonder you didn't get picked for Origin, brother. Karoha. That's it from me in terms of this game. Well done, Bulldogs. It's a well-deserved win. Shame to the Knights. To be honest, it should have been 32-0, but hey, it is what it is. And I do agree with what you said. You should, if you're close to the goal line, if you're close enough to go for 2, tap and run. You got a whole another set of 6. It's 13 versus 12. Test your luck. Because, man, like you said, you score the 2, Bulldogs kick it off, and then they just put pressure on you down your own end. Try your luck. The game had only just started too, right? It was 6 minutes in.
Start. Mm-hmm.
So 6 minutes. You don't even know how the Bulldogs are playing yet. Give it a go. Over to Saturday night, the first of 2 games on a simple Saturday. The Penrith Panthers at Bluebet Stadium in Penrith hosted the St. George Illawarra Dragons. This game threw me off, man. I didn't see this coming. Not one bit. The first half looked spectacular for the Panthers. It looked like business as usual. It looked like a sorry day for the Dragons. It looked like, oh, well, here they go again. Business as usual. Next man up. Panthers just keep on rolling. But we talked about our halftime speeches in an episode the other day. What would you say? It's a 10-point deficit. You're down at halftime. What do you do to spark the boys up? And I'd like to know what Flanagan said in that locker room to spark the boys up, because they're missing Lomax, they're missing Hunt, they're missing Sewer. Who else has gone from that team? Bird, he wasn't there because he was injured. those are key starting players. And for some reason, he sparked them up. Faitala Mariner, he got up. Sloan, he got up. Fiagai, he got up. Man, the heart, we talked about heart in the Bulldogs team. Well, you got to talk about the heart on this Dragons side. They had to come being down at half time, turn a game on its head, and run away with it 22-10. That's 22 unanswered points against the Panthers, who still had, let me check their team list. They still had Taruva, they still had Tungle, they still had Schneider or Cole, whichever one was playing during those times. They still had Leota, Mitch Kenny, James Fisher Harris, Sorensen. Yeah, this was a team that can still get shit done. Now, here's a caveat I'd like you to sort of sit with. If you put Nathan Cleary on this Parramatta side for the past years, and you put Mitchell Moses in this Penrith side for these past years, does that narrative change then for Nathan? Does Mitch Moses look like he's the next immortal, and Nathan Cleary looks like he just needs to be surrounded by a good team? Like, do those narratives shift, or is it just Nathan Cleary is just, head and shoulders above everyone? But is it in reality, does he just have a really solid team that he's surrounded by that makes his, greatness a little bit more great
That's a
looking?
great question. If they did switch, I think we'd be talking about. Well, personally, I do think Cleary's the better player. I think he's just got a little bit more to his game. So I think if Cleary was on Parramatta, they would be up there, still be an elite team. I think the biggest thing would change is that Cleary would probably have at least one, if not two, maybe three Dally M's, because he won't be splitting points with those other boys. But I still think he'd be the 7 for New South Wales and all that. But I would say if Mitchell Moses if he was at Panthers, he would probably have a ring or two by now. Now, do they go to 4 straight finals and win a three-peat? I don't know. I couldn't tell you that. But I'll feel as though it's a safe bet that he would have at least one chip, just because he is of that caliber, But yeah, I couldn't say that they would have had a three-peat or the run like they did with Cleary there. It's just hard to say. But I would say those two would probably be neck and neck as the number 7. And if anything, the reason why I think we'd give Cleary the nod is because it's weird. Like, it's because of the team that Penrith are with all the superstars. So it'd kind of be looking like probably the same question here. What happens if they switch? Will the narrative change? I just think Cleary's that good and is that guy that you put him anywhere, you kind of get the Joey effect. Andrew Johns, where he's just the best player in the world. He makes any team he's in that much better and a legit threat. So I'd still say Cleary would look at Cleary as the better player. He'll probably have a few more individual accolades, but probably not as much team success. I think that the Eels would make the playoffs every time and maybe get to a final where if Moses was in that team, you'd still bet money that they would make a multitude of finals, couldn't say 4 in a row, and more than likely he would have a premiership, but maybe just wouldn't have the accolades. I think if Moses was in the Penrith team, he'll definitely have more origins, because my guess is that would be the halves pairing. Even though they're both 7s, like you'd probably just put them both in. Which means it would be like the likes of Luai that wouldn't be making, wouldn't make their origin team and things like that. So yeah, that's how I would view it. But in terms of this game, we talked about how they were able to win without Nathan Cleary because you had the likes of Luai there, right? And Luai's he kind of plays second fiddle. Like, he knows his role, he knows he's Robin, and he's happy to play Robin. But he also has the ability every now and again to be Batman and to take over and to lead the team around. He showed us that in that Sharks game where he was absolutely dominant. The difference between this time, and I think it's the role that Isaiah Yeo plays, because if Cleary isn't there, like Cleary and Luai, great combo. But if one of them goes down, the other one takes over, and Isaiah Yeo kind of takes over that secondary role of like the secondary playmaker. So he slits into that Robin, even though he kind of, it's weird because like they got like one Batman and like 3 Robins on that team. It's just stupid, right? So I think the 2 players that they missed in this game was Yo and obviously Dylan Edwards. Like the start he gets them off to, right? Their biggest advantage. Oh, and To'o. I think that's one thing we overlooked in the preview show was the effect of Dylan Edwards and To'o and the ability to start their sets, right? Because they got the best back 3 in the game, I reckon. It's always positive yardage out that backfield. It gets them rolling and it gets their forwards going, right? They always win the battle of that field position because you've got Dylan Edwards returning it, To'o on the second hit up, and Taruva. Like, it's just the way they start sets is so imperative to what they do. Now, without Isaiah Yeo there, you don't have that ball playing lock in the middle, and he's elite at that. And he's taking this game to the next level now where he can do both at an elite level. He can run and he can pass. Right, so you're looking at, obviously they've still got superstars around them, you know, looking at the likes of Taruva, you got the Bash brothers there, you know, still a great quality team, but they were missing the players, and maybe just saying, you know, we didn't quite look into deeply because we just assume Penrith next man up, they'll just get the job done, especially against a team like the Dragons who got pumped the week before. Right, but those players that were missing are the ones that tie them together. They're the ones that connect the dots. So you got a team of superstars, but you don't have the ones who are pulling all the strings there. Not to say Cole and Schneider can't do it, but I think Cole and Schneider would have been better if Yo was there. Because Yo probably would have been the one to call in the players and that, you know. So, yeah, that's something that maybe we didn't look into. But like you said, man, 10 zip halftime, you just assume regular business. And then Dragons just come out, and to go 4 unanswered tries, that's not Penrith like. And it doesn't matter who's in your team, right? That's something that they hold their head on is their defense. They can win in many ways. They can outscore you. They can freaking grind victories out. But to go 4 unanswered is something that's just, you can't do. You just can't do that. So big up to the Dragons. And I think Flanagan said he couldn't wait till halftime. So if you want to talk about speeches, what he said, he must have had it already written, right? He knew. He must have like seen something and be like, man, if I can just get them to halftime, you know, I feel as though they can respond and come out the second half firing. And they did. They absolutely did. Big victory. Yeah, it wasn't our week on the TABA. Goes 0-5. Look, it is what it is. I mean, no one saw this coming, you know. I never think a staunch Dragons fan knew that they were going to win. But they got the job done to score 4 tries alone against the defending champs. Hard to do. To go 4 straight, man, that's even hard to do. And that's something that they should be proud of. They should be proud of the victory. In terms of Penrith, it is what it is. Their second half, it just didn't go your way. But I think they'll bounce back. And I would hate to face them next week because, like I said, man, it's
good luck.
They
Manly.
give me All Blacks vibes in this way. Like the All Blacks, you never want to play them after they've lost because it's just like
Arch.
You know, they already are probably the most team under the pressure where they can never win by enough. They never play perfect. Lord forbid they lose one game. You know, the whole team, the whole country calls for the whole team's heads. You know, sack the coach, sack this player, told you they were trash. So it's almost feels like the fear of losing a second game in a row. Oh, nah. If you lose 2 times in a row and you're the All Blacks, just don't even come back. You know, like it's not going to be fun. So that motivation to be like, oh no, we definitely ain't losing twice, and yeah, so I'd hate to face them next week. Who do they have? Do you know? I just might have a yeah.
The Panthers, they've got Manly.
Ooh, okay.
But it's at home for Penrith.
Oh yeah, look, Manly. If someone could upset them, I mean they did it before, but that was Manly were at home, eh? Either
Yeah.
way, it's gonna be a tough game and a good game. But yeah, that's all I got for that game, man. I think they sorely miss Isaiah Yeo and Dylan Edwards and the Dragons. Good victory. It's a great victory for them.
Yeah. Well done. Well done to the Dragons. And thank you on behalf of every NRL fan for what you guys did against the Panthers. We appreciate it. Speaking of great games, we're now heading over to KO Stadium in Redcliffe. The Dolphins hosted the Canberra Raiders. The final score, 25-26. I'll throw it over to two. You lead us out on this one, brother.
So yes, this game, not gonna lie, I didn't really watch much of it. Like I said, the auntie, uncle, and cousins were up, so I was having some drinks with them. And the bro is a Penrith fan, so after they lost, he told me to turn the TV off. But I think I caught the end of this game. Yeah, but look, a tough game, right? Dolphins. I don't know, but I just want to talk about the Raiders really, and in particular, I want to talk about their fullback Jordan Opana. I've been a fan of his for many years now, and for someone at his age to be doing what he's doing, just shows us how great he is. He's been doing it for years, man. He's a player that gives his heart and soul for the team, willing to do anything, and he bleeds green, you know. And he said it. I think he's off contract. I think they should give him an extension if he wants it. If he wants to ride off to the sunset and this be his last season, then all good. Um, but if he wants to go one more round, I think you kind of owe it to him to do that. I know they've got that young rookie Chevy. I think that's the one. Fullback waiting. Yeah, but he can wait a little longer. Okay. We saw what he did when he was there, and he was good, in Rapana's absence. But Jordan Rapana, I mean, he goes 4 from 4 from the conversions. He hits the 1-point field goal to tie it, at pretty much the end of regulation. And then he hits the field goal to win it. I mean, enough said, really. In terms of their forwards, Joey Tarpin there, a beast as always. He's just, I don't know, he's rock solid. It's crazy to think that, like, 2 seasons ago, his missus, do you remember that? She put out a tweet, or she put out on Instagram, like, pretty much, Joey Tarpin here, he wasn't being played. And I think she put out a post on Insta saying, like, you have a rep guy not getting minutes, like, what's up with the coaching? Like, pretty much play my husband or get rid of him. Because I think at that time he was in contracts talks, and maybe he was looking to go elsewhere, or other teams were looking at him. Wow, it got in the media and they were saying, oh, maybe your wife shouldn't be talking, yada, yada, yada. Well, a couple of weeks later, I think he got back into the team, and as they say, the rest is history, because he has just been on fire ever since. Yeah, now he's definitely not going anywhere. He's, I think, at times captain. If Whitehead's not there, he's the captain, eh? So it's just great to see the leader he is. And yeah, we said it a while ago, right, when Fogarty went down, chalk the season, it's over. But the boys keep fighting, and man, they're looking really, really good. They're looking like a top 8 team comfortably. And yeah, that is with inexperienced halves. But it just goes to show, right, when you have inexperienced halves, where do you have to, like, be better as a team? It's your forward pack. They have one of the best forward packs, have for a long time now. Just their experience and key position. Rapana at the back, that forward pack, and then you've got a little bit of X factor on the outsides, right? You got Savage on one side, you got Tomoko on the other side. So it's a good balance, and it's not just relying on the halves. I think that's what makes a difference to this team and why they're in the position that they're in. Dolphins, I'm not too sure what to say really. Hard luck. I thought they maybe should have won this game, but like I said, I didn't really watch it. So I'll leave it over to you. What were your thoughts on this game, man? And yeah.
Yeah, well, the first half of this game, it really was the Dolphins' game. Even throughout the second half, um, going into halftime, the Raiders were up, but it really looked like the Dolphins were the better side. The points were kind of irrespective of how it looked on TV anyway. It looked like the Dolphins had the potential to sort of win this game, and when they sort of come out in that second half, it was starting to go, oh, yeah, they've got the momentum now. They're ready to go. They're ready to go home with it. Unfortunately, Max Plath spoiled the party for the Dolphins, and he overran his line or didn't pull out. He obstructed a defender, and Jermaine Isako's game-winning kick was called back. He had 2 attempts at getting that kick to win the game. It's tough. It's tough. And that's what I mean. The Raiders really stole this game at the end. Oh, man, it's tough. Dolphins fans, it's tough. But, because, Isako nailed it twice, I'm pretty sure. He nailed it twice. And they both got pulled back. It is what it is. You learn, you grow, you come back stronger next week. You just roll your sleeves up and get back to mahi. It is what it is. You lose the 2 points, but yeah, well done Raiders, and on the back of some tough mahi from the forwards. Tapine, he's a beast, man. He's a beast, and so is Max Plath. Max Plath, I think, is definitely. Has he been Simbined or anything yet? Is he still eligible for Rookie of the Year?
I'll have to check, but maybe. Just going back real quick, the rule you're talking about is the blocking rule for kicks, eh? How you have to give the chasing team a direct path to the kicker, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what let them down. Because Dolphins had that one. That was theirs, and I feel for Isako because he lined that up beautifully, man. Canterbury boy must have been watching Dan Carter his whole life, being a Canterbury boy. So he dreamt for moments like this. He slotted it, and unfortunately Max Plath ran interference, and that kick was called back. I think it went to 2 overtimes as well before it ups managed to slot that field goal to win the game.
Because after 90, it's a draw, right? Like you can't do a third.
Yep. Yeah, you don't go golden point. Yep. But what I'd like to see is 2 teams get a chance at a kick. If both miss, then it goes to just whoever kicks the first field goal rather than first person to kick a field goal wins. Like if I kick the field goal first, your team should now get a chance to reply. If you can't, game over.
I see what you mean. Yeah. So on the Max Plath thing, he cannot win it, so he must have got suspended. Yeah.
Ratchet.
Because the same with Galvin, he's ineligible as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're probably looking at Strange.
Yep, Strange is leading the way. You got Ido up there, Fuller, but Fuller probably won't get enough games.
Yeah, Trey's not going to get enough games to take that out, unfortunately. True.
Yeah. But it's kind of looking like it's Stranger's to lose, really, unless he gets suspended as well.
Suspended.
But you never know with these things, man. You never know, because everyone thought Buller was going to win it last season because Preston couldn't, because he got suspended as well. And then Taruva ended up winning it. I was like, what the fuck?
It is what it is sometimes, though, way. Heading over to Sunday's game, 16-18. to the North Queensland Cowboys as they beat the Sydney Roosters at home at Allianz Stadium in Sydney. Now, I will add an asterisk to this win for the Cowboys. Like, although the Cowboys are a very depleted team at this point, the Roosters had trained and expected James Tedesco to be lining up with them come Sunday. However, an injury, I think it's a hamstring injury to Dylan Edwards, has ruled him out for this game. They said he is still, he could play, but they're risking it. He needs at least 1 week's rest, so he could even pop up for the Panthers next Sunday against Manly. But yeah, unfortunately for the Roosters, they didn't get James Tedesco. He's back in the New South Wales team. Unfortunate for New South Wales fans. But hey, who knows? This could be the biggest opportunity for James Tedesco to prove why he was unfortunate to be overlooked in the first place. So who knows? He could go out there and have a blinder, or he could self-sabotage because he's already got money on Queensland winning 3-0. So who knows? But Joey Manu was shifted into fullback, and now we always say, we love seeing Joey Manu at fullback. And there's, 202 meters are good enough reasons why we love to see Joey Manu at fullback. And this game was a weird game. It was all pretty much wrapped up for the Roosters to win this. If Cool Runnings had just held on to the ball a couple of times, he lost them this game. And the Cowboys fans, they will be celebrating big time with this win over the Roosters because Cool Runnings, my man. What doing, brother? You out here just couldn't hold the ball, throwing it back when you didn't need to throw it back, and then, getting your teammates to run out of bounds. Because if he, what was that play? It was like second tackle or something. He tries to offload it. He should have just went to ground. He probably would have been safe. And then I can't remember who it was, but they got run out of bounds.
He threw it back to Joey Manu. And when he caught it, he was closer to the sideline. He tried to just surrender. But yeah, they managed to get him out on time. Idiots.
Yeah, see. Fools. But it is what it is. I'm happy. As a Rooster certified, I'm a certified Roosters hater. Like, I'm their number one hate. However, I will say this: if I was ever to buy a Roosters jersey, it would have to be like a Joey Manu player worn and signed jersey. That's the only way you're going to see me in a Roosters jersey or with a Roosters property. But look, as a certified Roosters hater, like, I hate this team with every being of my fiber. Thank God the Cowboys were there to ruin the day. Even with that sin bin, I think same thing with the Bulldogs. That sin bin helped the Cowboys. Like, we said this in the Bulldogs game. Normally, a sin bin swings momentum the way of the other team. For some reason, this weekend, sin bins meant you gain momentum, and the Cowboys. Well done. Well done. I love to see shit like this. I think it's because Sam Walker looked Amish with that beard. That's just not the go, my bro. Shave it off. Go back to wherever it was that, you get your hair cut. Shave it off, my brother. It's not you. Great game from a lot of these boys. Granville, I thought, had a pretty decent game against the Roosters. At 50 years old, still going out there and putting up big performances. Tom Malolo looked like he turned back the clock a little bit out there against the Roosters. Maybe something in that water over there at Sydney that they just, I don't know, had Mike's Secret stuff from Space Jam. They just turned them superhuman for some reason. But it came at the expense of Dominic Young, this game, I reckon. Another standout performance, I think, for me, came from Terrell May. I think he had an outstanding game. Definitely, who I thought probably should have got that bench spot over Spencer Leniu for New South Wales. But hey, coach knows best. We'll find out come Wednesday. But yeah, that's all I got to say. I don't really like talking about the Roosters at all, so I'm handing it off to you two.
Let's see. You pretty much covered most of it. We talked about it before, right? You mentioned it about how the sin bin and then going for 2 points, you would think is the right play, but maybe this was just the off week. We could go look at probably every other game and you get someone in the bin, you take the 2 points and it works out fine and you go on and score a couple tries, but not this week. And what was crazy about it is that sin bin happened in the 49th minute. They took the penalty at the 50th minute. So at this point, they are up. What are they up? 16-4. It looks like it's pretty much done and dusted. It's over. And then the Cowboys just come out and just, do their thing. You got Drinkwater. He scores a try, gets the conversion. Penalty, conversion. What's his name? Who's the one that's going to the Dolphins? Kulikifu?
Kulikifu
Yeah, that
Funifu
guy.
Yaki.
He scored the go-ahead try, which ended up being the game winner. And it was just, Dom Young up to brother Siu Wong. Siu Wong gets caught with the ball on the fifth. Pretty sure Kiri is just one out for him. But does he pass to him? Nah. The brother, who I'm pretty sure this was his first game in ages, decides to put a grubber in. It goes dead, and that's when you know the wheels are off. That's when you just knew it just wasn't going to happen. Things were just not going for that way. And yeah, Joey Manu gets him at fullback. This is probably the first time he looked not like Joey Manu at fullback, if that makes sense. We're so used to him putting up superstar numbers, like Superman-like performances when he's at fullback there. He still did well. He was definitely one of the better Roosters out there, but he just, I don't know. They kind of made him look, I'd say not even average, just slightly above average. But when we're so used to him being as good as he is at fullback, it makes it look like not that good. If anyone else puts up those numbers and losing effort, we're talking about them being in the team of the week, right? That's how good he is. Yeah. The Roosters, at the time previous show, if you remember, they were paying like $1.13. It wasn't even worth it. Cowboys were paying $6. And man, this was upset to finish off a round full of upsets. Congrats to the Cowboys. Great performance, especially because they had 6 players missing due to Origin. To the Roosters, 5 players, I'm pretty sure. 1, 2. Oh no, Luke Keary played, so that doesn't really count. But no, I think the Roosters will bounce back. Dom Young, he seems to be good for a really great game than a really not good game. Yeah, it's just too many ups and downs for him. If you want to be an elite winger in this comp, especially one that the Roosters need, they need him to be more consistency. So those ups and lows need to be less, and he just needs to do his job, do what he's there to do, score tries, be a powerful runner. Because when he does that, he's hard to stop. But when he doesn't want to focus and he's knocking the ball over or just forcing things, it's not quite him. But yeah. I think I'll leave it at that, really. That's what I wanted to talk about. We talked about the 2 points, right? Like taking the 2 points in the sin bin, and if that's the right play. But what are your thoughts on this? I have a theory of why they don't do it, and to me it kind of makes sense. But we know that most teams in the NRL don't, when it's a full out or when it's a penalty, they don't go for 2 points unless it's going to put them ahead. So if it's 0-0, you get a kickable one, pretty much it has to be right out in front and inside 20. They're not going to take a shot at goal if it's 30 meters out and it's to the left or the right. You know what I mean? That's just not how the league do it. But I wonder if they switched it from 2 points to 3 points, a penalty, if teams would be more inclined to go for it. Because then, all of a sudden 2 penalties is the same point as a try. Where teams they'll take the 2 points on that first one because it's going to get them ahead. But if you're in the same position, they're never going to take the 2 points again because it just doesn't make sense to go ahead by 4, So you may as well, at that point, tap, try score, so then you definitely go up at least by 6. So just 3 for 4, if they switch penalty attempts to 3 points instead of 2, how that would look. Personally, I don't think they will do it because teams would probably go for it more. And what that means is a slower game, right? It means you get a whole minute, 2 minutes for the kick. Yeah, that's my whole reason why I don't think they do it. But it'll be interesting to see what type of scorelines would get. Would there be less golden point? Would there be more golden points with it being 3 or 2? Who knows? I don't. Thought I'd just throw it out there. It's also, yeah, right, that's all I've got on that one. If you got any take on that little wee tangent, feel free to chime in. If you don't, all good.
Yeah, I think we would see less. Well, we'd see less field goal attempts. I think, like, no, not field goal. This is drop goal.
Yeah.
Drop goal attempts. I think if you got a penalty, you kick your 3 ahead now, as opposed to a missed conversion try, or that 2 point only brings you up to a converted try that you missed earlier on in the game. So instead of being 6-4, you're now 6-all. Or instead of being 6-6, you're now just up 2. It does give you a small edge, but not enough, I think, in my opinion. Like, if I was a coach, I'm going for every day of the week. We're going to tap and run every day of the week. However, if it's a 3-point advantage, so now I'm 1 point above. So if I was on 4, you're on 6, I hit that 3-pointer. Now I've got an extra point buffer. You have to kick the drop goal to tie with me. So I think that would bring in a lot more tactics to the game. And, if we're picking up penalties, 40 metres out from the try line, I'd probably still attempt to go for the kicks rather than kick to the sideline and we'll try and go through a set of 6. Maybe we get a repeat 6, or how we lose it on the first play because we, tap pass and the forwards knock it on. Now they've got the ball. We've just relieved all that pressure. So if it was a 3-pointer, a lot more tactics start to get involved in that. Maybe I'd have to spend a lot more time on the sideline as opposed to being in the coach's box in case those 3-point options come up. Because, I think we're taking those threes almost every day, unless we've got like an average kicker. If I don't have a good kicker, like if I don't have an Adam Reynolds on my team, maybe we're just going to kick it out and we're going to try and run that 5 down. Because, if we got like a Reynolds and Isako or Cleary, we're good to go. But if we got like a Pompey or someone, or not saying that Pompey's a terrible kicker, just some off games, or like a what's his name, Dane Gagai. If you've got Gagai kicking, you're no good. So I like that. I like that. It's an interesting feature. I think it'd be interesting to see what teams would take that approach. Would they go for the 3 more often, or would they tap and run and kick to the sideline and get another set of 6 going? I like that. Well, Fano, let us know down in the comments below, or send us something to any of our social media sites. Let us know what your thoughts are on that there. But let's head over to our Team of the Week, presented by 99 Dreams. This is the practice run Team of the Week. Do you have the list up, man? Do you want to do the 1 through to 7? I'll do 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
I've got the team list up, and happy to kick off this week's 99 Dreams Team of the Week. At fullback, we talked about him earlier, getting the game-winning field goal. Jordan Rapana is your number 1. On the wings, we have Renato Mulitalo and Josh Adokar. In the centre, we have 2 newbies, I believe, Matthew Faungai and Will Penasini. In the halves, we have Ethan Strange, the likely winner of the Rookie of the Year, and the return of the superstar Mitchell. He is him, Moses. That is your
the return of the
That is your backline for 99 Dreams Team of the Week.
And with our forwards, we got leading the way Jordan McLean and Jack DeBellin, with Tim's favourite hooker in the comp, Reed, punch me in the head, Mahoney. Then in the second row, we have Raymond Faitala, Mariner, Jacob Preston, and rounding out this Bulldogs lineup, Josh Curran at lock. There's a lot of Bulldogs, but, rightly so. They had the biggest scoreline margin of the week, so it's very deserved. And, we had to show love to some of those Dragons boys, especially those Dragons forwards, because of the feat they accomplished against the Penrith Panthers. But all in all, that is our Team of the Week. We hope you agree with us. If you don't, leave your Team of the Week. Comment down below who you think should have been in our Team of the Week. I think if Adokar was on the field longer, obviously, if he was healthy and was on the field longer, he definitely could have took out, player of the week if we ever did a player of the week, because the way he was firing in that game before he went out, he was unstoppable, man. He was a god among men in that game. All right. Now, look, with State of Origin kicking off on Wednesday night, tomorrow night, we drop episodes today, Tuesday, and on Thursday. So we are using today as our opportunity to give our thoughts and thoughts and feelings, I guess, on tomorrow night's State of Origin game. We've got New South Wales taking on Queensland. The lineups that we're about to go through won't be finalised until an hour before kickoff. However, we'll still read them out anyway. We'll also, after that, get into the women's one, and they had a cracker of a game one. So, boys, you got a hard job of following their game one. It was sensational. So we're looking forward to breaking down and bringing to you guys the women's NRL game, which will kick off on Thursday. But we'll still, I think, break it down now, because on Thursday's episode, we'll be doing a review of State of Origin Game 1, as well as our preview for the week's upcoming games. So I think we'll use this time and space now to give our thoughts and feelings on this female NRLW State of Origin. But we'll kick things off with the men. Why don't you give us the lineups and then give us your thoughts and opinions? I mean, I'm 0-5, so none of what I say is probably going to matter, because I'll probably be 0-7.
Yes. Do you want me to do Queensland? And you do New South?
You do either or, bro.
Okay, I will go with the defending champs, 2-time, going for their 3-peat. Hopefully it's soon to be not an 8-peat. But I'll be doing the Maroons teams. Pretty stock standard team as you would expect it, given all the injuries. This team pretty much picked itself. You have the electrifying one at fullback, Reece Welsh. You got Coates and Tuolangi on the wings, and Holmes and the Hammer at centre. Dearden comes in for the injured Munster, and you have captain and DCE at that number 7. Moving to the forwards now. Cotter and Collins are partnered in the prop, with Ben Hunt starting at 9, Saw and Nanai in the second row, and that superstar Paddy Carrigan holding it down at the 13. To the bench, you got the superstar Harry Grant, who no doubt will have that killer combo with Ben Hunt, the hooking duo as they like to call them. Mike Futueka is also on the bench. Hopgood makes his debut, and Cobbo is at 17. What are my predictions for this game? Honestly, it's too hard to tell. Like, I feel as though they are quite... I think they're evenly matched. I'll tip the Maroons just because they are defending champ, but this game is being played at Accor Stadium. So in New South Wales, obviously. The biggest thing from this Maroons team is... I mean, you're looking at the ones who are missing, right? So Munster out. Ponga out. Although if Ponga was healthy, we don't even know if he would have made the team because of Reece Welsh. You also have Brimson, who was absolutely lining it up, out injured. Cobbo at 17 is probably the biggest one that everyone's a little bit unsure about. Most people understand picking Harry Grant at 14, right? You got that hooker role that you can interchange, and when he comes on, maybe Carrigan comes off, or you could just send Ben Hunt to that 13. Carrigan maybe moves to a prop. Who knows? I mean, if you're looking at the benches, right, you would say New South Wales have the advantage because this bench for Maroons, in terms of size, not the biggest, you know? I mean, Cobbo is probably the tallest off this bench, and he's there, you know, like, what role does he play? Billy Walters. Billy Slater talked about he was picking Cobbo because of the injuries that seem to always happen to the outside backs. So at least he has someone that can cover that. If an outside back goes down, you have a ready-made replacement. Maybe it might be a stroke of genius. We don't know. I guess we'll find out on Wednesday. But I know another team that also has not the biggest forward pack, especially off the bench, but boy, they get up and they fight for each other, as in my Bulldogs. And it's worked out, man. It's been one of our strengths, actually, our bench. As small as they are, the way they come in, where they are able to pin people down near end off of our kick chase. I think we got one of the better kick chasers. Are we good? Wait, were we good? Yeah, I think we got one of the better kick chasers in the comp, and it's won us a few games, I believe. So, yeah. I don't know if you want to talk about this New South Wales team. Do I even want to talk about them? I think I might just see what you have to say. Look, if there's anything I do have to say about this team, is I think Burden should be in the 17. He can cover so many positions that if one of those outside backs do go down, he can fill it, right? Because if a winger goes out, say either To'o or Lomax goes out, if Burden's in the 17, he goes to centre, and you have Suali'i or Critter that can move to wing, right? Or if Critter and Suali'i, one of them goes down, he just comes in for the centre. If Luai or Hines goes down, he comes in the halves. So he's like that insurance policy. Now, different story if Tedesco goes down. If Tedesco goes down, like, who are you moving to that fullback role?
Crichton.
Yeah, right? It's either going to be Critter,
Crichton.
Suali'i's done it before, Lomax has done it before. So there's people that you can put there. But if he's not in that 17 and one of them do go down, I think rumour has it Hudson Young goes to centre. And it's just like, so yeah, that's what I'm hearing. If one of them goes down, it's Hudson Young goes to centre. And I just don't know if I like that.
Yeah, because, hey, look.
Like that. Anyway, that's all I got, man. I'll let you take over. What are your thoughts on this upcoming game?
Yeah, well, I'll start off by reading out the lineup, and then I'll talk about some of those things as well. You know, being a Broncos fan, I have strong opinions about an all-forward bench. And if you're a regular listener of this show, you guys will understand my pain. So here we go. We've got at fullback James Tedesco covering the injured Dylan Edwards. It is James's time to shine, but he's still not the captain. On the wings, we have Brian To'o and Zach Lomax. In the centres, Stephen Crichton and Joseph Suali'i. In the halves, Luai and Hines, Travojevic and Haas are our props, with Reece Robson from the Cowboys holding down that hooking position. Liam Martin, Angus Crichton in the second row, with Cam McInnes starting at 13. Isaiah Yolza on the bench. Haumole Olakuatu, Spencer Leniu, Hud Young round out the bench, with Matt Burton in that 18th position. Now, look, anyone who listens to this podcast is about to know the answer to Tu's question, and I'm on Tu's side for this one. Matt, he needs to be in that side somewhere. Like Billy made space for Selwyn, someone needs to make space for Matt Burton. Yes, you put him in the team, no one goes down. That is a success. You don't have him on the team, someone goes down. Now we're getting exposed. Just look what happened to the Broncos every time we lost centre. We get exposed. We put in a second rower there, and they just get burned on that edge. That's what happened to Ricky. That's what happened to Piokura. So it's what's probably going to happen to Hudson Young. And that's a coaching decision that Michael Maguire will have to live with. However, there's still 2 more games to make it up, but they're going to be 2 difficult games to make up. You don't want to lose your first game, which is your only home game. So, look, coach, we'll have to figure that one out. I also think Mitchie Barnett should have got a spot in there. He's been out and out, probably one of the Warriors' most consistent players, no matter where they put him. Second row prop. He's versatile. We've got a bench full of second rowers, so Mitchie Barnett he should have been in there instead of maybe Young. If you're not going to start Isaiah Yeo, maybe don't have him in the squad. It's just an opinion I have. Like, what's he going to do as an impact player off the bench? I think if he's not starting, he's not going to be like, yeah, he's a great player. I'm not saying that he's not a great player, but I think he's more valuable starting than he is off the bench. And that's just my opinion. I'm not saying Cameron McInnes isn't valuable either. It's just, what kind of style of play are we going with? This is obviously his first game as New South Wales coach. We've seen him be quite successful with the Warriors. No, not Warriors, sorry, the Kiwis in the past couple of years with all our Kiwi players. So I'm not unfaithful. I'm just unsure. And I think the same goes for Billy's squad, right? A lot of people are like, why'd you pick Selwyn on the bench? We're not unfaithful. We're just unsure. Should have went with Kafusi. Should have went with David Fafita. All those kind of questions are coming around. However, and you'd hope not, but if you see an injury to any one of the back five for Queensland, Selwyn fits that. Reese goes down, Selwyn can play fullback. The Hammer can play fullback. Val can play fullback. If a wing goes down, Selwyn can go on the wing. If one of the centres go down, Selwyn's a mean centre. He can go there. So yeah, he's versatile in that aspect, and I'm happy for them in that aspect. I think maybe start Harry, drop Ben Hunt, and put in another forward. That would help round you guys out. I think is Footy, is he a prop or is he second rower? So you got one prop, one second row. That's it. Interesting. So what, Cotter's going to have to play some big minutes, and then Fotuaika comes in, replaces Cotter. Cotter has a spell, then replaces Collins, or Hopgood comes in to replace Paddy, and then Paddy comes off for a bit, and then Paddy comes back in and replaces Lindsay.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if Fotuaika goes for one of the props, and then Hopgood goes for the other, and then Paddy shifts to prop. Yeah, that's how I view it. I mean, I could be wrong. Paddy can easily go 80. Do you want to go 80 in Origin though? Surely give him like a little spell.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if he's going to be covering prop and lock. But interesting teams. It's hard to give a prediction. Obviously, we haven't seen any of the State of Origin teams perform this year. They're completely changed from years previous. New South Wales team has a whole bunch of new debutants. And Queensland have just a different lineup due to injuries. Then no David Fafita, which was an interesting call. But, Jaden Sewer deserves his jersey, as does Jeremiah Nanai. So I don't know where David Fafita fit in that. Maybe he goes onto the bench, comes off and gives, some of the boys spells. But yeah, look, Billy knows what's best for his team. He's a, champion Maroon player, and now he's a champion Maroon coach. All I can say to New South Wales is good luck, and I'm glad the morning shift boys aren't picking the team, because we'd be fucked if they were.
I just want to jump in real quick, and maybe this might lead us on tangent. If it does, you let me know and we'll just cut it off. But we've talked about in the past, like, Origin being a period where, we could put the game on another pedestal. So, lining it up with having international games, right? Like, if the NRL was to take a break for, I don't know, like, they had an international window like they do in league, like they do in football in Europe and all that. That's something that they could look at. I mean, why could you not have maybe like a 3-week or 4-week break in the NRL schedule where you could just do Origin series like they did in that COVID one, where it was just 3 games back to back to back, like it was once every week. And then you just throw in like the Kiwis have a team, obviously they play, I don't know, like maybe the Pacifica teams. So you have 2 or 3 different international teams playing at the same time, build it up that way. If they were to do that, it would be interesting to see where these, like looking at the Samoan boys, right? Which one they would play for.
Ooh.
Would they go to Origin and play there? Or would they play for Samoa? Because if they would, these teams would look drastically different, right? And all of a sudden, maybe those players, maybe those ones on the fringe who don't get a look in might get a look in, or they won't, which would also mean that our island teams won't be as strong as they could be. But the other reason why I say that is I feel like a coach like Maguire does better in series, but I think he does better if it's like back-to-back games, right? Because in tactics of, obviously you wouldn't be picking a team of 20. You'd probably have like a team of like 25 maybe. just to cover those injuries in that. And the example I give is the Kiwis versus Kangaroos. When we lost that first game, right, which was pretty much a dead rubber because both teams got in the final, Maguire definitely knew what he was doing because the next game, they pounced them. We had our biggest margin of victory against them in that final. We absolutely smoked them. I feel as though a series like this, where if they played 3 games back to back to back, Maguire would be a good coach because he would make the adjustments necessary. Right? Now, maybe also Billy Slater would be an even better coach because he would see the game plan that Maguire would have and be able to adjust as well. Just food for thought. I don't know if it's doable. I think it would be a little bit more cash money. Maybe it means in the NRL schedule, you don't play every team twice, which I think is something they should do anyway. Like, do you really have to play every team twice every year? Like, come on,
Yeah,
just, you know?
I agree.
Like, I think there are certain teams you should play twice, and the other ones you can get away with just playing once. But just food for thought there. And also, the other thing was, do you think the bench should be bigger, or the interchange should be bigger in international, or like in rep footy, I should say? AKA, instead of having 4, should they allow the 18th man to just be another interchange?
Yeah,
Because then,
yeah. No, I
yeah,
agree with that. We'll see with that. I'll answer the first one first with the international window. Yeah, short of this. Well, not short in the season, but instead of having this lull of everyone having bye weeks and we only get 5 games in these, block out a month, maybe a month and a half. The season cuts off maybe round 11, and then we pick back up round 15, and all those ones in between just become international games, state of origin games. Just lifts up rep footy a little bit more than just origin being the pinnacle of rugby league. International teams become a little stronger. They get a mid-season training camp, get to feel each other out, get to figure out what could be our lineups for the end of season tournaments. Clubs might have fresher players for longer. You might lose your star players, but that just gives clubs an opportunity to showcase their depth, which is really shone through, I think, this season. A lot of clubs have been able to showcase a lot of that depth. The Warriors have uncovered a lot of depth in their squad with them winning the past 2 games without Sean Johnson, no Tohu Harris, no Roger. They didn't have... No, Nickel Clockstar wasn't playing that last game either, eh?
I don't know. I want to say no.
So I think it was Tamari Martin and Chanel in the halves, and it was
Oh
Dallin
yes,
playing
yeah, no,
fullback.
yeah, that's what happened. Yeah,
Yeah, so just showcasing a lot of depth in these teams. The Dragons pulling off a lot of depth. Broncos having to dig deep and pull out some of their depth. It's good to see that clubs have that, and maybe even if they do get injured over this international window, you've still got that depth to showcase, and it gives international selectors, even maybe international selectors, can't pick To'o and that because they're playing for New South Wales, so then they have to look deeper into their wares and see who they can pick up. It adds that added, what's the word I'm looking for? Tactical element to coaching. The selection process is tactical. Like how I was creating a team for New South Wales that could compete against Matua Mark's all-time Queensland team. So it wasn't really necessarily all-time players in that position, but it was players I thought that could match well with another team. So it's that element of coaching that comes into it, as well as game planning. Maybe you've got 1 week of camp, so it's 1 week we just have no footy, and then into it, boom, 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 boom. There's all your games over that 4-week period, 5-week period, and then we're back to the NRL season.
it'd be good, man. It'd be interesting to see, like, if it did happen, what it would look like, and how that would play into the season. And touched on it before, man. Maybe if your players get a longer break, there would be no need for as many buys. Obviously, you have to have a buy with the number of teams in the comp. But the thing is, would we be seeing less injuries potentially? I mean, every year there's injuries, but would there be less? Because you're pretty much, if you're not an Origin or not a rep player, you're getting close to like a month off. Like mid-season trip to Bali, boys, we own. You know what I mean? No one would even bat an eye. Just a chance for everyone to get a reset. So then, by the time the rep season's over, now you're gearing up for the finals, right? The idea behind it is that the middle of the season should be like when everything's at its peak. You know, people are watching the NRL now, so it gives you kind of something to look forward to in the middle, to drive those numbers up, and then you use that as a narrative to drive the rest of the season. Because the push for the finals, naturally, more and more people are going to watch. Yeah, just another thing out there.
Yeah, harder. So, who knows? NRL, give it a go. Try it out. See what's good. Now looking forward to Thursday night's game. We will obviously talk a little bit more about this Thursday's podcast, but let's give the Wahine some flowers now before it's too late. Do you have their lineups?
Just bring it up now.
Awesome. Okay, so to be honest, I only know a handful of these players. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to talk about this game as if I am a pro. However, I do know a couple of key players that I will highlight, and you guys can keep an eye on those ones during this game because, yeah, there are some good players on both sides. New South Wales got the nod last game out, so they'll be looking to repeat that success in this Thursday night's game. So I'll quickly go over... I'll go through New South. You go through Queensland, eh?
Yeah.
You just got to read out the names. I'll touch on key players. If you know some of the key players, you touch on them as well. But starting at fullback, we've got Emma Tonagato for the New South Wales. Jamie Chapman, who was on fire in that first game. I think she was woman of that match, if I do remember correctly. Then on the other wing, you've got Tiana Pinitani, another sensational winger, Jess Surgis and Isabel Kelly locking down those centre positions, and they are two formidable legends of the game. I'm pretty sure they are the centres for Australia. Jamie Chapman, I think, is the winger for Australia as well, and I think that back five for New South Wales is going to be sensational. They're going to be on fire. Corbin Baxter and Rachel Pearson are your halves, and your forwards look like this. You've got Millie Elliott and Caitlin Johnston at prop. Olivia Higgins is your hooker. Kezi Apps, is she the captain? I'm pretty sure she's the captain. She's been the captain for Australia, so I'd assume she'd be the captain for this. Yasmin Clydesdale and Keely Davis is your lock. On the bench, they've got Talia Fuimauno, Olivia Kernick, Grace Kemp, and Sarah Tugatuki. And on the reserves, they have Kira Dibb, Ellie Johnson, and Jakia Whitefield. Kira Dibb is actually a pretty good player. She played in the Indigenous squad, and she carves up. If Keely Davis is the one I'm thinking of, she is another great player to look out for. Kezi Apps, she's probably the best Tigers player in Tigers history. She is a baller, man. If you guys watch her play, she's phenomenal. Okay, no, Kelly Davis is not the one I was thinking of, but she's a good player too. Jamie Chapman had a great game last game out. Isabel Kelly and Jess Surgis are just two names that pretty much are a shoo-in. Every time you see this lineup, you'll probably see those two in that team. Over to you for the Queensland team.
Yes, your team for the Maroons. Looking through it, I think I only know one person, to be honest. And that is the fullback, Tamika Upton. She plays for the Knights, superstar all around. I know that name. We have in the wing, Julia Robertson and Ivania Polite? I don't know. Centre, we have Shanae, not even going to try that last name, and Lauren Brown. In the halves, we have Taryn and Ali. Oh, look, Ali's the captain for this one, Ali Briganshaw, but it doesn't say Wonder how come
Yeah,
his
yeah.
captain there, but not for your ones. To the halves, we have Shannon Mado and Jessica Alliston is the starting props. Destiny Brill is your hooker. To the second row, we go Tasman Rapana. Must be related to the bro, surely. And as punted up with Romy Tizil in the second row. And the lock is Sian Lofipo. Moving to the bench, we have Emma Manzelman, Mackenzie Wheel. Where? At 16, we have Sophie Holyman, and rounding it out, we have Emanita Pucky. Look, they're coming off a loss in their last game, but they are defending champs, right? But in controversial fashion, right? Like they won the first game, lost the
Yes.
second, but won it on points differential.
Yeah, and there was only 2 games.
Yeah, which is stupid
Yeah.
if you ask me. But I don't understand that.
100% needs to be a 3-game series. Has to be a 3-game series. You can't win a fucking Shield off of 2 games where it's a draw.
Yeah. How do they bounce back? I don't know. Do I think they're good enough to bounce back? Yes, I do. I do think that. I think what's going to happen it'll be Tamika Upton at fullback, and maybe the captain Ali leading the way. Couldn't really give you much on this team.
Well, they've gone for Taryn Aitken pairing Ali Brigginshaw in the halves, dropping Zahara Timora, who's been regular in this Queensland halves lineup. She's also, I'm pretty sure she might be the captain of our Māori's team, our Māori All-Star team. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's either her or one other. Destiny Brill also plays for our Māori side.
Yeah.
One name that I'm interested that didn't make the team was Keely Joseph. She plays in the Indigenous All-Star. So all of this knowledge for me is just basing it off of the Indigenous game at the start of the year. This is the only games that I've seen of them because the NRLW season hasn't kicked off just yet. So I'm basing all of the form that I've seen on the Indigenous All-Stars game, and there's a lot on both sides. So that's a talking point. So Taryn Aiken gets the nod over Zahara Timora, which I think a lot of people are wanting to see. They want to see Taryn and I can't remember who else. There's one other that they are wanting to see paired with Taryn. It is, I'm pretty sure it's this Emanita Paki. I think it's her. Let me just double check. Is she? No, she's a centre wing, so it's not her. It's one of these other players. But yeah, they want new halves. They think that it's time for a change. The old guard's done a good job, but it's tough beating this New South Wales team that is stacked with Australian internationals. Talia Fuimaono, she's a regular in that Australian and that Indigenous side. Kezi Apps is a regular in the Australian side. Isabel Kelly, Jess Surgis, Jamie Chapman. These are quality players, and it's hard to say that these Wahine won't get the job done again. I'm a true blue on both sides of the gender of origin. I'm going New South, and I'm going to see New South Wahine. You're going to put on 100 on these Queensland Wahine. At home there at Acor. Is it at Acor? They surely are playing at the same stadium,
This one is at McDonald's Jones Stadium, Newcastle.
Yeah. Oh, Newcastle. Okay, well, it's still Sydney, so.
But you would think,
get along
right?
to that, Whānau, if you can. Go support the Wahine. It'll be a great game.
You would think, how come they can't be the curtain raiser?
Why don't they get the big stadium?
It must be just a money thing. They just
Yeah.
probably don't think they can fill it out, numbers thing, but that wouldn't be an issue if they were the curtain raiser for the men.
Yeah. Or at least promote the game a little better, because game one had no idea what was on until because I follow some of them on Instagram, so I was looking at the stories. What they played last night? What the heck? Gutted. Had no idea that was on. None at all. So NRL, you need to do a better job of promoting the women's game. It's unfair. They are super talented players, and from the highlights I watched of game one, the boys have a lot to live up to. If they can't bring us action-packed quality like the Wahine did in game one, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it, man. And like, just they're hard. Like, they could milk a lot more penalties and get them under the
yes.
green, but they
Yep.
just get up and play on. They have no bullshit. They just get up, play on, and run it up the guts. So these Wahine, strong women. Yeah, I'm back in New South Wales for both games. I'm going New South Wales both games. Men under 12, Wahine, I'm going 14 plus.
Ooh. Okay. I'm actually also tempted to follow you in that with the double. I just hope that New South Wales being at a core stadium will be able to get it done. Start of a new era. In saying that, I would not be surprised if the men pull it out. Yeah, I could see that being a one position game, less than 6. Wouldn't be surprised if it's within 2. Honestly, I'm just basing the skills one off the last one. Looks like the girls were able to get up. So I'm just following pretty much the pattern there, where I think they can get up again and get it done. Did I have anything else to say? I swear I had one more. Oh, in terms of like building the women's game up, you know how like pretty much most NRL teams have like a YouTube channel now, right? And some teams will do like clips of
Yeah.
their like a 10-15 minute clip of like giving you background info like leading up to the week, kind of like a cheap version of like Hard Knocks. um, That's something that they could be looking to do
Yeah.
with these girls, right? Like build it up, but build it up like not Hard Knock style. I'm thinking like HBO, like boxing style. How it's like the two teams and they kind of like talk smack a little bit about each other. Like you're looking at key matchups, so you highlight this woman. You highlight a few girls in one episode and talking about like the key matchups, who they'll be going up against. Maybe you do an episode on the rivalry between the girls and looking back at the history of the game. But that build up, if you do like 3 or 4 episodes of that building up into the series, might get you a little bit more interest in it. So it might be able to bump that viewership number up that way. And we'll know more about these Wahine as well. We know they've got the skill. We know they're just as good as the men skill wise. But yes, yeah. Get another just food for thought. Something else we could do to get viewership numbers up. But that would be
No,
good,
I
right?
love that idea. I love that idea, brother. And like, I think even building off of that as well, 100% doing that. But then even picking maybe 13 players and just have a camera crew follow each one of those. So try and pick someone from different teams. Maybe you get a double up of 2 people on the same team, because there's only 10 teams in the comp at the moment. So maybe, follow that one player around for the whole season, get their pre-season. If they're in the Indigenous or the Maori teams, capture that. Then go with them through how they get through the season, how they prepare as the season begins. If they get into Origin, follow them around their Origin camp. What's that like? Then how they prepare for the start of the season, how they keep their body going each game, because obviously their seasons are a lot shorter than the men's season, but it doesn't mean that their quality of product is any less than what we see in the men's division. I'd say that this women's competition is probably one of the best female competitions that we have in sports in general. Obviously, the WNBA is another product I think is perfect that they could use as a model, especially this season. I've heard so much more about WNBA this season than I have in any other season, man. Like the lead up to the draft, seeing all these rookies play out. Like this has been the most info-packed year for WNBA. So NRL could
Yep,
follow
definitely.
that same rubric and build on it for their Wahine, because man, you've got some talented players. They deserve as much credit as the men get. They don't need to be playing those 2:30 afternoon games. This isn't reserve grade footy. They can definitely hold their own at a 9:45 p.m. prime time Australian kickoff. And I think this Thursday night, if you can, wherever you're watching, tune in. Like, yes, it is female footy. I know there's so many connotations that people have about female sports that it's not as good as the men's. Trust me,
It's
tune
just
in,
different.
watch
It's
it.
different.
It's going to be a great game. Yeah, it's going to be a great game. I wish we had like a female perspective that could come on the show, and because it's different, two men talking about a woman's game, what they should do to make this. We're just talking about it from a marketing aspect to how we think, you can engage a male audience, because that's what we're thinking. We're thinking from a male brain. It might be different from a female perspective, but like you said, that HBO boxing lead up would be a great way to showcase different teams, different players. It'll definitely inspire a lot of young wahine around the world to take up rugby league.
Yeah, it's a good way to showcase certain players, right? I think one thing that we don't do well on this side of the world to America, which they're great at it, is that they build superstars where we don't, right? You don't really like Reece Welsh. There's very few, right? Welsh is one, Pong is one. Over here, you kind of have to have the look to match the skill. Where over there, they can build it up, right? Like the whole narrative that plays into it. And I'm wondering, because over in the States, everyone has their teams, but people nowadays are more tied to players as opposed to teams, right? Like everyone has their favorite player. If their favorite player moves teams, they kind of just follow along. On the side, especially in NRL, everyone's still tied to teams, right? Like no one, like if your favorite player leaves, it's kind of like, oh wow, but no one really follows him. Like you kind of gain a second team, right? It's like, oh, I now have a new second team, but everyone's still super loyal to their team, and I wonder if that's because we ain't able to generate as many superstars as they are, and that's kind of like the next like layer I think that the NRL can get to is creating superstars, because you create superstars, that's what's going to drive your revenue up. Obviously, more views, more numbers, you would hope translates to more money. And that's where I think they can. But if you're going to do that, you have to be able to create these superstars and let these superstars do superstar things, right? Let them get sponsorships, let them market themselves in the way that they want to, which generates views. Yeah, I think that's the next step for them. Wonder how long. I wonder if we'll ever get to a stage where you have NRL fans start following players and not teams. I don't think they'll ever get there because the way they do it is super wow, right? And it's going to take a big shift in thinking for it to happen. But I think if they ever did get to a stage, there'll probably be a lot more money involved in NRL.
Oh yeah. Like just think about how marketable Dan Carter was, and if they were able to, create a whole bunch more superstars from those teams, where it wasn't just the likes of Dan Carter. Who else was one of the backs? Carlos Spencer. It was only really the backs, right, that got that glory. It was you'd never see like Kevin Miralamu on an underwear ad. You'd never see the likes of John R4 getting that big deal for modeling and stuff like that. So, if they found ways to, even though you got the bigger, uglier lads like turning Cam McInnes into a superstar, people like that can happen. They just need to find the right formula, the right amount of marketing, and, some of these HBO special types, hard knock types, follow you around for a season type, would be a huge thing for the NRL to look at. And hey, if you fellas are looking to hire ideas, people, man, we're right here. We're right here. The practice run. We a think tank. We a think tank over here.
Right, because there has to be a day where someone has to get a shoe deal. Surely, that's gonna sound like fucking hotcakes, man. You mean to tell me kids won't go out and buy, the Welsh ones? You know what I mean? I mean, imagine the Reece Wells, the Lightning ones, Indigenous edition.
Ooh.
I'm just saying, right? Put it there, mate. That shit would sell out like that. Every kid will be wearing those, and they'll be waiting for the next one. I mean, those shoes just sell themselves, I think.
Oh man, that
Lightning One Indigenous edition.
or the
we on.
I forgot the Lightning ones, the Laylas after his daughter.
See?
That would be a perfect, like the woman in NRL round. The Laylas. Bro, that would be a mean collector's item. Maybe get the Benji Marshalls.
See,
get some Marshall ones. Get some Marshall threes. Get the Yeah,
The
man.
RTS fours. Come on now. What are we talking about?
Oh,
Money,
yeah, gee.
man.
Dally M edition.
Oh, have to, right?
You
The
can get Dally
Dally
M
M edition.
editions.
Yep. Just
Ooh, the
yep.
Premiership editions.
See, smart. I'm telling
Oh,
you, like we're on. Do you reckon you could make some
see,
concept shoes?
Essex, Nike, Puma.
You're like the concept design man, aren't you?
It's harder with the boots. I don't know how to draw a boot.
Oh, surely you could just get it offline.
We'll have a try. We'll have a try. We'll have a dabble,
Yeah,
eh? We'll have a dabble. I'll get a couple of templates to get some color
yeah,
palettes together. Give us a week. I need the
yeah.
weekend.
No,
I got a
no,
busy week this week,
no
but give us the
rush.
weekend.
No
We'll
rush.
try something.
You know, just
Yeah,
yeah.
we'll try something. We'll put it up on our socials. But yeah, hard out. Do we just like create their own logo
Yeah.
and everything? Like you know how the Adidas got the 3 stripes? Do we just create a something else?
Just go with. Are they with someone? Like if they're already with someone, keep it. Well, I'm guessing most of them are still with Essex, right? It seems like to be the brain. I don't even know what the rugby league
I
brand
think
is. The
Essex is
brand,
the.
you know, I don't know what shoes people be wearing.
No, wait. I think I see. I think I see Ezra and Walsh wearing those Nikes.
True. Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are wearing the Nikes. I can't remember what they're called. I see them on EAFC 24.
Yeah.
They're a football boot.
But food for thought, man. That'll be cool. Yeah.
But just customizing it in a way that.
That mirrors the stuff. Because then you put that on socials and then you tag them, and then in a year's time, introducing the newest our guest for tonight, Reese.
Hey,
Put it out there. You got to put it out there,
Reese
Fano.
just signed to this one, Footy boots. Our first ever signed deal.
Got you, mate.
Hey, those ones, Reese, because you're our first superstar, you get 100% of the profits. We just need the branding. We just need the branding, my boy. No, that's a wicked idea. Yeah, we'll have a tutu with that. Maybe I'll even tap him with Benja.
Oh,
I know he's good
yes.
at graphic design too.
Yeah, man.
So maybe we reach back out to Benjamin and we get him on the show again, and we'll see if he can come up with some designs as well.
Hey, we want some lightning ones, you know.
Yeah. We'll try
What a name, right? I felt as though that name just came out of nowhere, but it has to be the name, right? What other name could you go with now? It's got to be.
Bro, yeah, Reese Walsh's lightning ones.
Yeah.
Electrifying. The electrifying edition.
Yep, indigenous.
Surely you have to have a team edition, so just like the standard team colors, and then you've got his like special colorways that you come off of with.
Surely.
Oh yeah, surely we can suss something like that out. Fuck, I wonder if we can get a custom shoe done by like how like on Nike you can do those Air Force Ones and shit that you get custom up.
IDs.
Maybe you can do that with football boots.
You can't. I don't think you can do IDs anymore. I think the way you used to be able to do it is that you had to get it shipped via someone else. You know how like there's those sites where they give you an American address, so you can shop in America, it gets sent there, and then it gets shipped here. I think that was the only way to do it. Obviously, it costs more, but then you'd be like, well, I'm the only one with this pair, so worth it.
And then you don't have to pay import taxes too if you have a friend in those countries, because they can just ship it to you as a gift.
True.
It's just a present. You don't have to pay import taxes because you're not buying and importing anything. Which is the loophole that I'm actually going through. I'm going to say, I'm going through this loophole to get my motorcycle fairing imported. So I'm just going to get it shipped to my cousin's address in Australia, and then he's just going to ship it from his house.
Nice.
So that's how you loophole things, Fano. Come here for the practice runs. What is it? Tips and tricks, life hacks for the practice run. But yeah, stay tuned. We will get that concept done. We'll get it back to you guys at some point, but not right now. We've got State of Origin to get ready for tomorrow night. So I've got darts tonight, so I've got to get my things ready for darts. So you probably got an early start tomorrow morning.
Yep. We full day of mahi tomorrow. Oh, actually, tomorrow's Wednesday. Oh, it's just meetings all day. Oh, even worse. But nah, yeah, it's pretty much me really. Due.
Oh, yo. All right. Well, with that being said, that's it from me. That's all I've got to say. So I'll see you guys back here on Thursday. Hopefully, same place, same time. You know me, you know too. I'm going to hand it off to the brother two to wrap things up for us tonight. Thank you all so much. It's Iwi.
Yes, hopefully you enjoyed tonight's episode. A bit of shorter one with the fewer games, but we went over the Origins teams. And as we do, or seems to be a trend lately, we do like to go on tangents, But we like to talk about this game that we love and how ways we could see it go to that next level because that's what we're striving for, really. But I hope you enjoyed the episode. We're gonna keep this one nice and short. See you guys on Thursday. We will be reviewing. We will do a review of both Origin games and previewing the weeks coming up. Until then, whānau, stay safe and see you next time. Cheers to the cheer. Mā te wā.